Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Trading Table. This is Andrew. Joining with me is Landon, and today we're going to be going over some of the biggest movers of the market, what to watch for tomorrow, and more. Boy, oh boy, was today a crazy, crazy day, right? If you guys remember, 2 days ago, I believe, we released a video saying that, the market is bull trapping, right? We're going to have a bull run, and then we're going to kind of return. As we still have some areas of concern, some gaps that need to be filled. I think it's very possible that we could see the 500 level. Possibly not, hopefully not. In a perfect world, we wouldn't see that. But with tensions rising in the Middle East, it's not looking too good for the market right now. The threat of Japan's economy crashing kind of went away for the most part, right? As Japan's market strengthened. But, as we could see here, we're we were kind of close to breaking out of this downtrend that we're in. If we had broke this high right here, potentially like a zone that kind of looks like this, right? If we could have broke above this zone, I would say, all right, bulls are back. But, at the end of the day, we didn't. And now this kind of just looks like a pullback in the downtrend, right? If we hop out to the 1 hour chart here and we zoom in a little bit, right, we could see that we made a lower high. And, if you were considering this an uptrend, that market structure is broken. So, not the best case here. It was a good sign for the market that we kind of did strengthen a little bit. But, we did say the market was bull trapping, right? There's just so much bearish things for the market right now. So many gaps that need to be filled. We've just been up and up and up for the past few months. And the market can't do that. Market does need to pull back, and it being an election year kind of gives it a little bit more volatility than rather a normal year. There's a whole pack of things involved with the election year and such. But, I think that, SPY by end of year will be fine. All right. The market's not going to crash. We're not going into a recession, right? If anything, this is just a healthy pullback. There's gaps that need to be filled on higher time frames, right? If we hop out to the day and kind of hide these lines because that looks atrocious, we can see, there's multiple gaps up in this trend. And when you see multiple gaps up like this, right, kind of not a really good sign for the market. You kind of want, more action like this, right, where we're like moving up like in a formation kind of like this, right? But, when you have big gaps and such, and these aren't no small gaps either, we're going for like a whole like $3 up on SPY. So, not too good there. But for the short term, bearish, long term, obviously, if you're not bullish, what are you doing? But yeah, today was definitely not the best day. And I kind of skipped over the heat map here and got into SPY. But if we look at our heat map here, right, NVIDIA was down 5% today. NVIDIA's been seeing the most volatility since, I've ever seen. Besides, its initial climb. Like for this time frame, NVIDIA is super, super volatile. We're all the way back down to 97, unfortunately, right? We broke past that 100. I remember seeing that there was so much liquidity at this 100 level, right? And breaking below it, not the best sign. I do think that, the market can kind of correct tomorrow, hopefully. We might have a little bit of a bull run because, people might be coming back in. But think about it from like a buyer perspective too. You just bought in, you had a little bit of, a taste of a bull run. Now we're all the way back down to where you bought in at. It kind of could make some buyers kind of fearful and not really want to enter the market. Looks like the VIX finally found its level, stopped free fall and stabilized itself. If you guys remember, not too long ago, aka Monday, we were all the way up at 66, which is almost COVID level VIX, right? Very not good for the market. We kind of just steep downtrend after that. But, it looks like we're going to kind of chop around this level for a bit, maybe consolidate here. It could go higher. Do I think it'll go lower? Right now, especially with what's going on in the Middle East and the threat of war, probably not, right? Probably not. I think we're going to go ahead and more than likely stay around the 27 VIX. That could change, obviously, depending on, news with the world and such. But, I mean, look at this downtrend today, right? SPY was down 0.67%, which might not seem like a lot. But if you think about it, we had a huge sell-off end of day. So, realistically, we're more down like, around like 2.21% if you just kind of overlook that sell-off. But Nevertheless, moving into tomorrow, if you join our free Discord, we're probably going to be going over SPY early in the morning, getting our bias, and then moving from there. It's a little too early to tell. A good tool we use for that, by the way, is don't sleep on ES, right, guys? This is SPY's basically 24-hour market. Well, it is SPY. You know what I mean? It's S&P 500 futures. So, you can basically see what the price action is moving like because SPY has a cutoff, obviously for aftermarket. ES does not. ES runs all day, every day, with the exceptions of when it's closed on the weekend, then opens back up at 6 p.m. on Sunday. So, futures are a good tool too. Don't ignore futures if you only trade stocks. They can tell you a lot of information as well. But yeah, looks like we are kind of steeply downtrending here. As we can see, this is where the market closed, and this is where we're at now, right? So definitely down. We'll be watching ES tomorrow morning to see how we're looking, right? But with SPY and with the overall market, we're still in extreme fear. So a lot of you might not see a lot of buyers come in. As for that Intel play we were talking about, definitely not seeing too good momentum right now, right? We had that bull run. Intel didn't really reflect it. So not a great sign here for Intel. The best advice I could give is just if you are playing this, just, get a lot of time, right? Because eventually the market will reverse. If it doesn't reverse and the U.S. economy just absolutely crashes when we go into a recession, I mean, we got a lot of other things to worry about than trading stocks, right? We got to, feed ourselves and such. And so, you got good RR there. You either die or, the play works out. But in all seriousness, Intel, is probably just lagging behind just because there's just so much fear within the market. I mean, who would really invest in small caps right now? There's definitely not going to see a lot of movement in small caps, at least on the buyer side. Maybe shorts, I could say, I'd believe that. But we did also have Intel's ex-dividend date happen today. So that means if you are not in the stock, you are not getting your dividend, right? So that we could see, I expected to see a lot more buyers come in. Unfortunately, we really didn't. So, not the best look here with Intel, but overall market's not looking the best right now, right? So, just as a whole, right, you just got to play the long game, play the waiting game. Options is super, super risky, obviously, but one thing that makes it less risky is getting a bunch of time. The more time you have in the market will beat your timing in the market when you enter and such. So, just keep that in mind. But yeah, Bitcoin is also kind of just moving back to where it was back when, on Monday when the market just absolutely dumped. So not the best sign here, right? We saw Bitcoin, that is the wrong area. We saw Bitcoin move all the way down to 49.4. And we're kind of moving back up right now, but this is a pretty big dump that we're having. I thought, buyers would eat this a lot more, and everything kind of moving down for the second time will scare off a lot of the bulls. But just keep an open mind. As the VIX is so high, it's kind of hard to predict what the market will do next, especially since there's so much news affecting the market. So just keep that in mind. But, in other news, Lockheed Martin, right? Defense stocks, you're going to see these go up. If you're a bull and you can only trade calls or you can only buy shares and hope that they will go up, you only trade long. Defense stocks, right? This is kind of a no-brainer. There's conflict in the Middle East. Russia's backing Iran. We're backing Israel. What are defense stocks going to do? 2 plus 2 does equal 4. So defense stocks to the upside. Here we go. I've been a long-time shareholder of LMT, or Lockheed Martin as well. So I'm super bullish on Lockheed Martin. We did see a crazy level of 562. Like that spike was absurd on Monday. As with the whole Middle East conflict, that kind of boom shot that up. But we kind of chopped out for a bit. We did have a super, super steep decline at open today, in the pre-market, I should say. And then, we opened today at 537. We finished at 549. So that is, a 1.28% increase, which for a stock like Lockheed Martin, it's pretty choppy out here. Okay. You don't really see that too often. Obviously as tensions rise, you might start seeing this become a bit more volatile, but, another one that one of our Discord members, was talking about in chat was RTX. So shout out to Paranoid B for, alerting the community to this other defense stock, and this just kind of gets you more exposure to the defense sector. So, this could be a good option as well. If Lockheed Martin's either too expensive or, you want more risk reward, right? This is definitely one that will give you more risk reward, as a lot of people think Lockheed Martin is overvalued. And, I could see that argument for sure. So RTX, good option as well to the upside. And, we could also see bulls come into, like I said, defense. Gold could go up as fear goes up. That's kind of a no-brainer, right? If the U.S. gets into a war, the dollar will tremendously weaken. Gold will tremendously have upside potential. So, watch gold to the upside here. I know we have a lot of money in gold right now, a lot of big investors that are in gold right now. Cybersecurity is another one of those sectors that could do very good. Just to name one, we have Palo Alto, right? Or PanW, right? Could see this go up as well. And this all depends on what happens with that conflict and how we look. In other news, though, even though we did downtrend super steep with SPY, Netflix is just not following. And Landon was talking about this in yesterday's video. So, if you missed that bit, go ahead and check it out. We do have a big money play for Netflix. But nevertheless, Netflix looking great, right? It's not correlating too heavily to SPY. So if you are a bull, once again, Netflix, great play. We did kind of have a super steep sell-off today, but, we are up, right? We called it out yesterday, and we're up. So you know what I mean? It's a good play. Netflix is just super low right now because, earnings kind of sent them into like a downward spiral. So, they were pushing some nice areas too. We were almost pushing 700, and Netflix, the good thing about Netflix as well is that this is nowhere near all-time highs. The 600 level isn't. Obviously, when it was around 700, it was near all-time highs. But, with Netflix, you kind of have a good risk reward here just because, A, we're pretty low right now, and B, this is not new levels for Netflix. And whenever you see, a stock trying to make a new high and it's already like been through that area before, it's a pretty good sign actually. So we do have earnings coming up in like as you can see, 69 days, so like 2 months. So if you are playing long term on Netflix, I mean, I don't think that'll affect you. I think it should, continue to uptrend until then. But just keep an eye on that. Just keep that in mind. Just stay alert, stay aware of the market. Jumping over to Landon now for our big money plays for today.
Yeah, thank you, Andrew. So, in terms of big money for today, we've actually kind of calmed down from the last 2 days. The last 2 days we were getting like 6 and 5 big money plays, but today still quite a few, but three, not too bad. First one being for ticker symbol AAL, and this one is a put option contract at a strike of 8 with an expiration of 1/16/2026. Total premium count 650K. Total volume of 5.25K. Pretty solid data there. But yeah, this is really just kind of like a business model play. Just kind of thinking that American Airlines is going to continue to downtrend. Me and Andrew are pretty bearish on this stock as well, because they're just all around like trash. Like they just miss on everything. Management is horrible. They don't know what they're doing at American Airlines. And as you guys could see, hasn't been nice. Just straight downtrending. For the last several months. Moving on to our next one, it's actually for ticker symbol PLTR, and this one's a put option contract as well at a strike of 25, expiration of 2/2021. I mean, excuse me, 2/21, 2025, with a total premium count of 1.82 million and a total volume of 7K. Data there is really solid. 2 million in premiums is really nice to see, and with an expiration of 2/21/2025. Gives you a lot of time to kind of leverage the contracts and see what you like and don't like. But again, this is another business model sort of play here. Not my favorite. I don't know too much about Palantir Technologies. Um, so I mean, I guess if you guys are kind of bearish, this would be a pretty good play for you guys. But not my favorite all around. Just because I feel like technology tends to kind of progress, innovate, and do better, over time, and meaning it'll grow. But I don't know. I haven't put too much time into Palantir. But if you guys are well versed in Palantir, then be my guest. But for our final ones for ticker symbol CCJ, This one's a put options contract as well, at a strike of 38, with an expiration of 9/20/2024. Total premium count 1 million and a total volume of 5K. Actually really do like this one just because of how we've been moving the last couple of weeks. This one not a whole lot of time compared to the last two, because the last two we got 2026, 2025, like crazy far out plays. But this one's for September 20th, and a pretty good play here just because we've been downtrending. We did have a little bit of a pullback the last few days, so we could see it, continue to downtrend. And I do think with the whole market, what's going on right now, I think we are going to see lower lows just all around, especially in terms of energy, minerals, stuff like that, just because it's a little harder to, kind of move that stuff around, export, import. It's not good for business, right? But other than that, back to you, Andrew.
Yeah, Landon, great analysis there. And if we look back to this AAL play, the first one that Landon called out just now, we actually had our bot call this on May 29th, 2024 at 10:22 a.m. So, sometimes, as you can see here, it was just super choppy for a while. And that's kind of the reason that me and Landon did end up cutting this. But, if you just trust in the process, the process will most likely work out. We had so much money in AAL. Let me just double check real quick. I think we had right here. We had almost 2.7 million premiums come into AAL, and that was just AAL's put to call open interest ratio was absolutely blown out of the water. Right, AAL had like 2.8 or maybe 3.8. Sorry, 3.8 million in puts and only like 700,000 in calls. So what that means is there were 3.8 million contracts open for puts at the time and 700,000 for calls. So, when you see a big gap like that, you kind of just follow the money, and it's really that simple. So AAL finally did end up breaking down. They did have earnings report again. They came up, and then, market kind of corrected itself. It was like, wait, hold on. AAL is a terrible stock, terrible company. I hate this airline. Never fly American Airlines. And then it fell. So, don't think we're going to get sponsored by AAL anytime soon. So I'm not really worried about them. But let's go ahead and look at our earnings report for this week right now. So looking at our earnings report for this week, right, as we can see here, remember, guys, I was talking about NVO. This is a big health name. And, the reason that I'm talking about health is normally I wouldn't, but right now health is actually turning bullish compared to the overall market. So, once again, if you're a bull, if you're looking for things that will go up, health. Although NVO didn't have the best earnings report, as you can see, we're down 8.37% on the day. They did kind of miss as well. So that's on them. That's on them. You know what I mean? We did have Disney report as well, and they are down just tremendously. I remember I was a long-term shareholder of Disney, and then I sold it around I bought in at maybe 90 and sold at around 105 just because they just would not, every time earnings would come out, they would drop tremendously, and I didn't want to hold through earnings anymore, and I just sold, even though I was long-term with them. I was tired of them. So Disney is off the long terms. Don't really recommend Disney as a long-term company. Unless, they launch some AI, then we'll talk about that if that happens. But Shopify, also another notable name. They reported they're up 17%. I kind of saw this one coming. Not really. I mean, I'm kind of lying if I say that. But Shopify was so low and so undervalued. It's crazy. This is one of the biggest American names in online retail besides Amazon. So, I know Amazon has been sliding a lot recently, but Shopify was just even sliding more than Amazon. So yeah, another just talking about Amazon, great buy-in here. Just gonna leave that out there. Amazon, biggest retail name in the world. Check them out. But CVS also reporting. Don't really, the rest of them are pretty boring. After close today, not really a lot either, right? We had Robinhood report earnings, so there's a broker reporting earnings. Looks like they literally moved barely anything, just 2.48%, even though they beat the EPS by 40 and revenue by 7.94. Not a whole lot of notable names. We do have another health corporation, Gordon Health. They're up 5%, or sorry, they're down 4.4%. They reported after close as well. Monster Energy, you know, I honestly didn't even know they had a stock ticker, but they are down as well. So, looking at tomorrow, we have LLY coming out. Now, this is going to be important for the health sector. So just keep an eye on this. They are down right now, which isn't the best sign, but that can just be contributed to sellers leaving positions, people closing positions before earnings. Because normal people don't like to play earnings. Only gamblers really like to do that, unless you're really long-term holder of LLY. Penn is another name I see here reporting earnings before open tomorrow. After close, we literally have nothing. I mean, Paramount, I only know that because of the logo. Dropbox and Unity, I only know those because of their logo and ticker. Not really watching those too closely. But yeah, super quiet earnings week. We're going to go ahead and take a look at our economic calendar, which is also super boring. But there are, I think, two things tomorrow. So looking at our economic data for tomorrow, we've got jobless claims coming out at 8:30. And I've been seeing a lot of bearishness with, unemployment in the U.S. I think our unemployment's around like 4.5% right now, which is not the best sign. We do have the 30-year bond auction coming out as well, and continuing jobless claims. So jobs not in a good spot right now, could send the market lower. I'm not too it's anyone's guess, right, until they release this data. But from what I've been seeing, not looking too good for the jobless claims report right now. But that's all for today, guys. Thank you so much for tuning into the trading table. Be sure to check out our free Discord. Link is in description for all of our plays, free use of our bots, and more. We've got a community, and we are growing, right? So, check that out. Once again, link in the description, and we'll see you guys tomorrow at market close.